Welcome to Midlife Reclaimed, the podcast for women ready to navigate midlife with more clarity, compassion, and energy. I'm Shannon Swales, psychologist, writer, doggy mama, and midlife woman walking this path alongside you. Twice a month, we explore real stories, expert insights, and practical tools to help you move through chronic stress, overwhelm, and burnout so you can reclaim your voice, your boundaries, and your joy. Please remember what you hear here is general information, not a substitute for personal therapy. This isn't about midlife crisis, it's about midlife reclamation. So let's begin. Hello and welcome back to Midlife Reclaimed. I am Shannon Swales, your host, and I'm really glad to have you here on what is a very hot spring day here in southeast Queensland, Australia. Now, in my last solo episode, we looked at why rest is so hard to do. The years of conditioning, the chronic stress, and that caregiving load that when it comes to resting, that we find it uncomfortable and quite frankly unsafe. So today I want to take this reflection a little bit further into real life. How do we actually create moments of rest when our life is so full, the demands are so constant on us, and our nervous system is just on overdrive. It's running on empty. So this episode is about small practical ways that we can gently invite rest in and be able to deal with that guilt that shows up, and also not waiting for the perfect time. So let's journey into rest, the myth of enough time. So why does it feel like there's never enough time to rest? This is because we've been taught that rest is something that happens after everything else is completed on our to-do list, that rest is something to earn. But life, especially midlife for women, is just so full. There's never an after, there's never an end of that to-do list. I constantly hear this from the women that I work with. It is never ending. And by the time that it comes to some time for rest, whatever that may look like for the woman, she's too exhausted. She's too exhausted to really enjoy whatever that rest may look like. So the shift really starts when we stop waiting for that after and start weaving it into our to-do list, weaving it into our day. So let's redefine rest. What does it actually mean? And more importantly, what does it actually look like on a busy day, which, let's face it, is pretty much every day for the midlife woman? So rest doesn't have to look like long naps or weekends away, although these are wonderful. And if you get the opportunity, do that for yourself. Rest can be found in those moments of softness. It can be the choice to do some breath work for a minute or a few minutes in between tasks. It can look like sitting down for 5 minutes and having a cup of tea or coffee, whether that be in the morning before you get into the day, or whether that be throughout your day and having a break. I think this is a really important message, that rest is not about doing nothing. And I think some people, their mind gets caught up in that, and mine did too. It saw rest as nothing, as non-productive. But that rest is an opportunity for this mind who's been thinking and focused and moving forward all day, and this body who's been consuming a lot throughout the day, to reset, to recharge. So these little soft moments add up. Just like, and I tell my clients this all the time, just like those little minute stresses accumulate and fill and lead to burnout. It's often not some big thing, but it's cumulative over time. So same with these rest moments, that they're cumulative as well. So if you can't get that weekend away, that nap in the day, that these soft moments of rest are really wonderful to weave in your day, and possible, definitely possible. Let's go a little bit deeper and look at some specific types of rest that we can experiment in here and weave into our day. And I really encourage you to think of these as small doorways to calm that, you know, give back to our bodies and mind and spirit in different ways. So the first one that we're looking at is micro rests, and those examples I gave before are aligned with this. So these are those small moments, like doing some breath work before you open your inbox at home or at work, wherever it is. Hopefully at work, but whatever you do, and it might be the stretches or yoga poses that you do in between tasks to transition, but give that body, mind, and spirit some rest. The next one I want to explore is sensory rest. So this can look like closing your eyes to give your that consumption your body is having of all the stimulus around your environment through the eyes. You might want to close those eyes for a minute or two, or it might be that you're needing a break from sound, from the consumption of that, and it could be because there's a noise that's particularly irritating your body. I know there's ones that irritate mine. So, noise cancelling headphones are great for that and often recommended in circumstances where that really stimulates you in not a great way. But it also can simply look like enjoying the warmth of your cup of tea or coffee or the on a hot summer day, the cold water, icy water that you're drinking. And one of my favorites that it's just dawned on me is working from home, which I know is such a privilege that I have, that I can go out and put the clothes on the line. And I use that as a sensory break where I really allow the sun to beam down on me and give me like a warm hug. So that's really beautiful for me as a sensory break. And a really beautiful one, playful rest, like doing something just for the pure joy of it, whatever that might be for you. It might be doodling, drawing. It might be playing with your dogs. I know that's one of them for me. One of my dogs, Toby, absolutely enjoys play. So throwing the, toy for him, tug of war. And I enjoy it too because it's so joyful to be in. But yeah, playful. So non-goal orientated, something that brings you joy is really another form of rest that we can enjoy and find ways to do, even micro ways to do throughout our day. And then another type of rest is structured rest. So actually choosing and putting in your diary a 20 to 30-minute rest session where there is nothing, like that you've got on your list that you're just that this is what's on my on my list is rest, that there's nothing planned. You can just be and you can choose whatever you want to do in that 30 minutes when it comes to that, So yeah, that's structured rest time. So, are there different kinds of rest that we need from a health and well-being perspective that we know is scientifically to be true? Yes, there is. And here I'm going to draw on Dr. Saundra Dalton-Smith's work on the 7 types of rest. So, Dr. Dalton-Smith is a physician and researcher who reminds us that rest is not just about physical rest. So, each type of rest that she talks to restores a different place or area of depletion that comes from our daily living. So let's start with the first one of hers, which is the physical rest. So, time for our body to recharge from all that use and walking around, running, or whatever's happening throughout the day, or just even holding all that she does. So, this might look like lying down, this might look like stretching, it might be a yoga pose, just a gentle one, it might be the breath work, it might be just, relaxing those different areas of the body that feel tense, like the jaw or the shoulders, which are often mine. So the next one is mental rest. We need to give this thinking brain a break, from planning, organizing, analyzing, problem solving. She needs rest too. So this could look like taking yourself out and letting your mind wander with the beautiful vista, if you've got some beautiful trees or a back garden or whatever that might be. It might look like writing out those thoughts that are on a loop in your head just for later to look at. But giving your mind a mental rest. And sometimes, and I should note, with these different types of rest, that often it's combined. Like when I'm putting the washing on the line, for me, that's a couple of types of rest. One being a mental rest, because I am just putting the clothes on the line, I'm taking my mind away and just focusing on the sun coming down on my skin. So it's mentally restful, but it's also sensory restful as well. I'm just going to pause here for a moment to share something with you. If you'd like to keep up to date with what I'm working on in the world of midlife and burnout, I invite you to join my mailing list. It's where I share updates on the resources, events, and services I offer to help you navigate midlife stress, overwhelm, and burnout with more ease and clarity. As a thank you, you'll receive my free guided journal, Journaling as a Way Back to Yourself, a gentle, at your own pace, reflective practice to slow down, listen inward, and reconnect with what matters most. You'll also get a couple of extra resources to support you in your inbox after your journal arrives. You can sign up via the link in the show notes or at shannonaswales.com/subscribe. So now back to the episode. So sensory rest coming to, which we already started to talk to, but just opening that up a bit more, that might look like, muting your phone or muting notifications or even seeing the red. I know I've permanently put my notifications off of all my apps. I'm like, when I go into them, that's when I'll look at them, just as a permanent sensory rest for me. But looking at ways in which to give you some rest from any sensory overload as well, or preventing it from getting overloaded. Okay, this next one I really like. It's called creative rest. One that I do notice a lot of midlife women are quite depleted in and really yearning for that. So this might look like creating space in your diary just for allowing the mind to wander and daydream and come up with ideas around work or life. It might look like stepping into nature. It might look like listening or creating music or art, or even just doodling again, or drawing, or maybe coloring in. It doesn't matter what that looks like. Might be with your children as well, or by yourself. But it also can look like, just having no agenda and just allowing that mind to wander, because creativity often comes in the stillness and in allowing ourselves to immerse in other creativities, whether that be a beautiful garden that your neighbor has created, or just nature because she's creative just on her own, right? Or, engaging with your favorite artist and music, or painting or whatever. And that often helps our mind to get in, our spirits get into that creative rest time. Now, emotional rest is another important one that is very lacking for a lot of midlife women as well, just due to the sheer busyness sometimes of life and not having the opportunity for emotional rest. But it also could be because there is a lot of resistance there, or just not knowing how to take care of ourselves in this emotional way. So this might look like acknowledging what we're feeling, actually noticing and naming it, even if it's naming how we're feeling in the body, which is, our emotions are in our bodies, they are represented in our body. Like anxiety, for example, is felt in the body through tension in the muscles, heart beating more rapidly, feeling like your chest is constricting sometimes tension up here. So yeah, if you find it hard to name the feeling, name what's going on in the body. Naming is a form of emotional rest, but also, besides acknowledging our feeling, allowing the expression of it too. Like if we're feeling sad and feel that urge to cry, allow ourselves to cry, because crying is a very expressive way for our bodies to move through that emotion. Crying is a good thing. It's not weakness. And talking about it with someone, talking about our emotions out loud with a trusted other, can be really, really helpful and beneficial too. And also journaling can be a very useful way to express ourselves and have that emotional rest as well. it might sound a little bit weird that emotional rest actually means tending to our emotions and naming them, acknowledge them, and not trying to get rid of them. But yes, when emotions are heard and expressed, that's when they actually feel rested. So that's a big one. And I do, with all these types of rest, can be very tricky to do. And if you haven't listened to episode 57 yet, please go back to that, because it does allude to and talk to the challenges with doing rest. And if you're finding it really difficult, I really encourage you to engage with a qualified professional who can help you with these things as well. Don't do it alone. Okay, so we're getting through this list. Social rest, really important. And I feel like I'm a bit of a broken record at the moment. It's another one that I notice is depleted in a lot of midlife women, because often there's a lot of caregiving going out. So there's social connection, but not a lot coming in for them. There's not necessarily the social rest that they need, connecting with the people that help them be them, and they can be themselves in, and just making that time to connect with those people and be surrounded by them, and doing whatever. Like, it might be that you play together, like it might be that you go to an art class together. So there's creative rest, there's social rest, and there's play rest. So there's a combination there, but social is really important. And particularly in burnout, one of the things that our body and mind encourages us to do to survive while we're still doing the things and in the environments that are burning us out is it as a survival thing makes us withdraw to conserve our energy, but it means that we miss out on these other kinds of rest. So there is a sacrifice for continuing what I often like to call the design of life that we currently have that is burning us out. The last one is spiritual rest. Now, this is what I mean by this is what we find meaningful. So it is really important that for most individuals, and it will look different for every individual, what might give us meaning might be our beliefs, our religious beliefs. It might be nature, it might be music, like whatever gives us meaning. This is important that we spend time or feel connected to this. For me, a big thing that gives me meaning is my family, is connection and quality connection. So prioritizing this in my life helps me feel connected with my spiritual meaning. I also find nature very meaningful as well, and believe in Mother Nature kind of, this might sound a bit ruling us all, like that is my bigger than self thing. And so nature is very spiritually connecting for me. So making sure that I spend time in that, even if it's, again, those micro moments, especially with living in a city. But I'm lucky that I live in Brisbane. That is a very, like, there's a lot of nature around her. So it's helpful it's an environment where I can still connect with nature. Not as much as I'd like, but it's pretty good. So you might notice just from hearing that there's one or two that really stand out for you, and maybe feel from the heart a real urge towards engaging in. And I really encourage you to do so, and just look at it from that very micro level. Just how can I bring just 3 minutes of that in the day? Like, if it's play, it might be if you have dogs or kids, not that you need them to play, but if that helps, choosing something with them in the day that's 3 minutes, and 3 minutes is doable, to have some play. It might be even when picking up the kids from school that, putting on your favorite song, it should every now and again be your song too, or their favorite song that they sing along, and there's a play rest time. So micro moments. So yeah, spend some time just, reflecting and making a commitment to some actions. Because remember, cumulative effect, micro moments. So what about when guilt shows up when you're trying to rest? And it will, most likely, for the majority of you. And this is because as we discussed in episode 57, that we have been conditioned to give care out. So when we're giving care in, it feels wrong. It's not wrong, but it feels wrong because of this conditioning, because of this belief system. And the only way to break that chain is by actually doing the rest. And what can be helpful, though, to support you when the guilt is there, and so you don't go with that guilt and stop what you're doing, stop the rest and continue, is having a bit of an internalized script, of a bit like an inner compassionate friend telling you, you've got this, it's okay. It might look like letting yourself know, hey, rest is fuel, that this allows me to be able to be my best self when I come back into my caregiving duties. That this is not only for me, it's also for others. So that might help support you during those moments of feeling guilty, but not letting guilt take over and actually avoid rest. So use the internalized script ideas that I just gave you, or come up with your own, or talk with your girlfriends for ideas of what maybe they say to themselves, or what helps support them to take those moments of rest as well. Come up with one together. And I'd love to hear what you come up with too, because the more scripts we have, the more help we can give each other to actually stay in these moments of rest rather than stopping them because of guilt. So I want you to take this in. So hear this. Rest for regulation, not reward. Rest is paramount. All these types of rest are paramount to our nervous system. A lot of the things that we're doing, particularly if we're burnt out in chronic stress, overwhelm, it means that our nervous system is always in the sympathetic nervous system, which is the one that is on when we want to, when we're in threat, whether it's a mild threat, moderate, or severe. And it puts us in this fight, flight, freeze. We're always on, we're always alert. And in modern day society, there's a lot, and for midlife women, there's a lot that keeps us on. And our nervous system also has the parasympathetic nervous side, the PNS, and this is important for us to activate as well. And all these types of rest help with that. So helping balance out our system. So taking these micro moments of rest and weaving it into your busy day, and not waiting for that reward, because it's not about reward, it's about regulation, helps you. You're giving back to your body that really needs it, because you've only got the one body, and she's not a machine. She is human and needs your support. So I will get off my soapbox, but yes, rest is regulation. Remember that. I want to pause here and offer something deeply personal for anyone feeling depleted or stuck in stress, overwhelm, or burnout. My book, Nothing Left to Give, A Psychologist's Path Back from Burnout, shares my real-life story of hitting a wall in 2021. Burnout, compassion fatigue, and resurging mental health struggles that forced me to leave my work and rebuild from the ground up. It's not just a memoir, it's filled with practical tools and reflections to guide you towards rest, reclaim your sense of self, and resist that pressure of constant caring going outwards, perfectionism, people-pleasing, toxic independence, all of that. You can find this book both in ebook and paperback via Amazon, or just head to the show notes for the link, or shannonaswales.com/burnout-book for the links. And now let's get back to the episode. Now, an important question here that I'm sure some of you are asking already, or hoping that I will talk to, which is, what if I find like things like meditation or any kind of stillness really hard? And this is probably going to be particularly pertinent to neurodivergent folk, who often do ask this, particularly in the work that I do. And this is where often what I encourage, if you find meditation, sitting still, lying down, that kind of stillness, is Rest can be, as you've already heard, really moving kind of things. And I encourage movement then, like gardening can be restful. So can going for a walk. Putting movement into things like even journaling, but choosing to write because there's movement in that making your rest, if you're finding meditation or that lying down hard, is add movement into it. Even possibly, if this again suits your system, having music playing, particular music that helps you rest. That, yeah, movement is okay. Adding other senses in to help support that rest is okay. Finding what works for you. And we actually find with meditation, there's a lot of non-meditative techniques. So where you don't have to sit still, where you can still meditate and build the mindfulness way of being, which often we do through meditation. And mindfulness is very great for stress reduction. So that's where we learn to be present more, so out of our heads and into our whole bodies and the environment around us in a curious way. But we don't just need to, well, we can do that through traditional meditation ways, but we can also do that through non-meditative. So that might look like a really common one that I teach is the walking meditation or sensory meditation, where you name five things that you can see, hear, or touch, taste, and smell, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you can meditate while moving. You can bring meditation into your everyday life, like if you're washing the dishes, getting in touch with the experience through your body, like the feel of the water in your skin or the smell of the dishwashing detergent or whatever it might be. So yeah, there are ways to help you rest when you find those really still ways very, very difficult. Now, throughout the episode today already, I have alluded to ways that you can integrate this into your life, particularly those busy days, which can be every day, let's face it. But some further advice on how one can start to bring this into your day. Now, the easiest hack is to actually put it on to something that is already habitual for you. This might be unlocking your phone in the morning, or it might be, when you get to work and open your emails, just something that is routine already. And choosing one of those rest activities that you feel the urge to put in and put that into there. So that might be, choosing to do some breath work to give that for that mental rest. And that might be when you first get up in the morning before you unlock your phone. And maybe even on your phone, putting your screensaver as a prompt going, that rest that you've chosen to do. But yeah, and it might be when you brush your teeth at night or have a shower, but just picking a routine that you already do. One of the ones that I do is that in between the sessions with my clients, that I do like pencil out some time. So it's some structured rest. But in that time that I move away from my desk, I go for a walk to the kitchen usually. I grab a drink, depends on the time of day, tea, coffee, water. But that's that mental rest. But it's also yeah, it's a lots of kind of rest. Sometimes I play with Toby if he's around. He's usually around with a toy in his mouth. But it's, I suppose, the routine thing. I'm seeing clients Monday to Thursday. There's always the end of a session, and that's a cue for me to engage in some different types of rest. If you've been listening or watching and thinking, I'm just too busy for rest, this episode has been made just for you. And that rest doesn't demand hours. It doesn't need to look like that. This whole episode has certainly stressed that point, but it does invite our presence. So today, just pick one small doorway into rest for you. That might be a breath, a pause, a soft exhale after reading an email. So that's where rest begins. It's weaved into our day, not at the end of a to-do list or as a reward for completing your day, but it's right here in the middle of our life. And if you found this episode helpful, I please hit like, give us a rating, share a comment, and please share it with, gift it to someone else that you know could benefit from this. Let's spread the love to our loved ones as well. In the next solo episode, so just a little sneak peek for you guys today, we're going to be looking at sustainable energy, what this actually looks like, and how we can find really genuine balance between our output, but also the need for the input as well. So we will definitely explore that together. And just a big shout out. Thank you for tuning in, particularly for my subscribers, followers. Thank you for being here. Love to hear how you're finding as well, if you've been with me for a while, the venturing into midlife focus area. But of course, the continual discussion and exploration and support around burnout as well. But just a thank you to everyone, even if you're new here. Thanks for being here. And until next time, I hope you find some small, kind ways to allow rest in. And as always, take care of you, and bye for now. Thanks for listening to Midlife Reclaimed. I hope today's conversation has reminded you that you are not alone and that change is possible even in the busiest seasons of life. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, rate, or review the podcast and share it with another midlife woman who might need it. For more resources on navigating midlife stress, overwhelm, and burnout, along with reflective writing prompts and community connection, visit shannonaswales.com. You can also watch full episodes on YouTube at Midlife Reclaimed. Remember, you have permission to slow down, to rest, and to reclaim what matters most. See you again soon.